372 at this time. Increased it to 22.
Campbell. Hey, don't even start. Stand over there in the car, and I'll be with you in a second.
Well, that's not what he would do for me. You got him doing more than I could get him to do.
What's the matter?
Guy comes in, he wants to drop the dog off. He's from Geneva. God knows this guy. He can't drop the dog off.
Did I tell you to stand over there? You stand by the car where I tell you to, or you're going to jail now. You can utilize it where I tell you to stand. Do you want to argue with me more? Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. It's Priscilla. Come get this. Can you get this? Look at this. Look at this. I am a peaceful inhabitant. Stop. Get off me. No. Get off me. You want to turn around? No, I'm not. You're not. No. No. Yes, it's unlawful detainer. No. Stop. Stop. No. 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 Stop. 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 Let go.
Stop, baby.
Stop. Stop. My children are called. You're hurting me. Stop. There ain't nothing happened. There ain't no crime been committed. You're unlawfully detaining me. Stop. Look at what you're doing to my children. Stop.
Baby, it's okay. It's okay.
Go.
Go.
Stop. Get off. Get off of me. Stop. 37. Do not touch me.
Come here, like
Stop. Stop.
Get out.
Stop.
Don't tase me now.
Over that 37.
Don't tase me now.
Stop. Get off.
You're in the back of the car. Get it? No. Go. Come right out. Stop.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Get on.
Don't do it.
Get it.
Do not do it.
Stop. 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 Take off. Stop. 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 Don't do it. It's unlawful. Get here. Are you ready? Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Stop. Turn around.
But that probably wouldn't have made any difference, as 8 minutes later Sergeant Adrian Woodruff reached her arm through a melee between the arms of officers tugging at Lawrence to press the barrel of her gun to his gut and fire without warning or utterance.
No, she shot me right there. It's radio. Hold on. Damn. No, she shot me right there. It's radio. Hold on. Turn around.
God damn it! Stop! Oh!
No, she stopped me right It's radio! Hold on!
This is interesting here. The shooting took place December 30th, 2014. Despite public interest in the case, the dashcam video was not released to the public. Well, gee, no kidding. It's a murder by police. On July 25th, I assume that would be 2015, a federal magistrate I guess ordered it released. I'd have to back up to see that. Dothan Police Department created or cleared their officer, of course, certainly. I mean, you know, what's the problem with a police officer deciding to kill someone that is refusing to ID? Simply refusing to bow down to their immense authority, the Dothan, Alabama Police Department. Of course, you know, they apparently have the authority just to decide to kill you. So, this needs to be taken into consideration if you're ever around Dothan, Alabama, or many small cities and their police departments in America, because you could be wandering around in America thinking that you are living by right, but actually, according to the police, you are living because they're allowing you to live. And of course, they may decide to terminate you at any point, especially if you resist or defy their ultimate authority over you. Okay, so that's what's going on. And of course, a lot of people might think, hey, where do these police get these ideas? Since we have a Declaration of Independence and Constitution and all that, and laws that have been around for centuries, where could the police possibly get these ideas that they have ultimate authority over everyone, to the point they can just take someone's life if they appear to be a sovereign citizen? Wonder where they get those ideas.
This very important law enforcement officer training video is being brought to you by Star and Shield Group, dedicated to the public safety community and their families. What you need to know about the sovereign citizen movement.
I'm Sadie Darnell, Sheriff of Alachua County. This video is being produced by the Florida Sheriff's Association and the U.S. Attorney's Office to raise awareness for law enforcement regarding the sovereign citizen movement and how they may impact us. Sovereign citizen is a catch-all phrase used to describe a variety of anti-government groups and individuals who share a common belief that our United States government, including our court system and law enforcement, is a fraud and they are exempt from our authority.
Now to Georgia, where the streets outside a county courthouse were quiet again after a bloody shootout on its steps.
Sovereign citizens may tell you that you have no authority over them and that they are not within your jurisdiction, but that is simply not true. It's our hope that through this training video, you will learn more about what sovereign citizens believe and that most of all, it will help keep you safe.
Known as sovereign citizens. People who do not believe that many of the basic laws of this country apply to them.
I'm not an American citizen. I do not recognize these. I am my counsel.
They have disrupted courtrooms, led police on high-speed chases, and even engaged in murderous shootouts with authorities.
Oh my God!
There are an estimated 300,000 sovereign citizens in America. The FBI classifies them as a domestic terrorist movement. Many of these people followed a scary progression from passionate but peaceful to ultra-violent.
A sovereign is an individual that interprets the Constitution of the United States differently. Sovereigns believe essentially that the United States government is not a legitimate government, but is a corporation. So they will not have a driver's license, a vehicle registration, an insurance card, or anything in which there is some type of implicit contract, verbal or nonverbal contract, in which the United States government can hold sway over them as a slave. Sovereigns believe in two different things. That each of us are two distinct individuals. We are our free man, which is our flesh and blood, our human aspect, and we're our straw man. And that straw man is that corporate slave, if you will, to the United States corporate government.
Ah, the government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government.
The rhetoric of a sovereign is very important from an officer safety standpoint. You'll hear a lot that I'm a free man of the land.
I am protected by the land. Do not tell me to shut up. I am the living natural man, and my voice will be heard.
They will ask you, what is the reason for stopping me?
I'm asking you again, what am I being pulled over for? What am I being stopped for? Am I being detained?
You have, I am traveling, I am not driving, I do not have to provide a driver's license because I am a sovereign.
All right, stay seated, Scott. Do you have a license on you?
I do not submit to unlawful inquiry, sir.
Okay, so you don't have a driver's license?
I have a right to travel unencumbered freely.
You do not have jurisdiction over me. Are you a peace officer? or a police officer, there's a difference in the sovereign rhetoric.
I also need to know if you're a constitutional common law peace officer, or are you a police officer, because there is a difference.
Some sovereigns will ask you to fill out paperwork explaining your jurisdiction over them. Some will be argumentative, but the argument that you will get most is that you have, as a law enforcement officer, you have no jurisdiction over them. And they will constantly repeat that. Their objective is to confuse you. You don't know their level of commitment. If they are providing this information in order to confuse you or in order to distract you to the point where they can take advantage of you and assault you or kill you.
I'm Bob Powder, Chief of the West Memphis Police Department. My officers, Bill and my son Brandon, didn't realize that there are people at war with this country that are not international terrorists. They are seemingly ordinary people, just like you and me, but they don't recognize the federal government's authority to impose laws or taxes on them. They're known as sovereign citizens. Their beliefs may sound so out there that they appear comical or crazy, but don't discount or ignore these people, because they're willing to kill and be killed for these beliefs. We as law enforcement officers need to recognize this very real threat so we can protect ourselves. And maybe if Brandon and Bill had been able to recognize the warning signs of sovereign beliefs, they'd be alive today.
Indicators from an officer safety standpoint is there are indicators on the vehicle itself. It could be bumper stickers, it could be a specific type of homemade license plate. They will not have legitimate driver's licenses or vehicle registration. However, they will have homemade licenses or registration, which furthers their cause. There's three types of sovereign categories in which we see regularly. Constitutional sovereigns, religious sovereigns, which believe the only law they have to follow is God's law, and diplomatic sovereigns, which believe that they are diplomats or citizens of another country or Native American or Aboriginal to the United States, therefore not subject to United States law. From a law enforcement standpoint, if a law enforcement officer has an encounter that someone is claiming to be a sovereign citizen, it is very important to have a plan. And what we suggest is when you identify someone as a sovereign, either through their rhetoric, through their paperwork, or through some other type of means, is you automatically disconnect and call for a backup officer and for a supervisor. Have a plan when it comes to dealing with a sovereign. Document the incident through a report, through a field contact. Document the incident and then share that information with your agency, with other surrounding agencies. And if you engage in a verbal confrontation with them, rest assured they're most likely videotaping it. And then they will use that as propaganda to discredit you as an officer, to discredit your agency, and to further their sovereign beliefs and cause.
I just asked you for your license, your registration, and your proof of insurance.
Okay, I'm going to tell you you're being video recorded and audio recorded.
So are you.
Oh, well, good.
Do not get distracted by their verbiage, by their rhetoric, by their onslaught of paperwork or language that they're giving you.
When they come into the courts, usually they have lots of paperwork that's hard to decipher. It takes a lot of time with our staff to try to decipher what it is they're trying to file. And then in their case files, they're usually very voluminous. They take a lot of time. And in the courts, they can be belligerent. Sometimes they don't want to stand up when the judge comes into the courtroom, and they're always representing themselves in the court. So you can see it does have a huge impact on the courts, you know, on a statewide basis.
In one county in the Northern District of Florida, an individual turned violent when law enforcement went to execute a warrant at his home.
Sheriff's offices are often targeted by sovereign citizen groups because we're in charge of the courts and we run both the civil and criminal process serving. When a sovereign citizen presents you either false identification or invalid documents, you need to advise them that it's not recognized by the sheriff or the court and then take no action on it. but be very cautious of how you approach them and what you say to them, because you can leave your agency open for liability.
It's not gone away. It increases in membership and beliefs with the conspiracy, government conspiracy aspects, with the internet, with the communication aspects, it's increased.
You were born free, now you can live free.
You always have the option to reject their governance and therefore escape tyranny.
Because it's your life, and the power is really in the people.
It's increased. Here in Orange County, we probably document a new sovereign at least once a week. And you can ask Sheriff Judd in Polk County. He has many sovereigns. Virtually any sheriff, any police department in the state of Florida has had an encounter with someone claiming to be a sovereign or a sovereign belief.
There are groups of individuals who believe that the United States government is something that they do not have to abide by and something that they will actively resist.
What you need to know about the sovereign citizen movement.
Basically, you need to know that they should be killed immediately on sight because they are actually challenging the authority of the great authorities, which don't actually have any lawful authority. But that's why the police, and in particular sheriffs, need to be trained so hard so that they won't get the idea that perhaps they should be observing the law and doing their duty instead. Thank you very much. Well, that was certainly informative, and we did hear the word authority and the phrase our authority several times during the training video for police officers, and we might be able to gather that what really pisses them off is the idea, the very idea that the people could be the authority in this country, or that they would even have the unmitigated gall to present that idea, that they, mere people, have some authority, and that the military police there, with all their stars on their collars and badges and everything, are not having authority over them in their peaceful and harmless activities of living life. This seems to be quite the annoying concept to these police officers, and in particular sheriffs, which sheriffs are supposed to be the chief peace officer for the Republic County. Of course, they don't want to hear any of that, but this certainly helps to explain why Officer Woodruff here, after putting up with some of Mr. Lawrence's belligerence and refusal to show his ID to her and obey her tremendous authority over him, that she decided ultimately to kill him so that perhaps he might be able to learn a lesson, and all of us mere people out here can observe and perhaps learn that very same lesson. that police, people with badges, have ultimate authority over common, mere folks in this country, the country known as America, and the country that was founded on the idea of freedom, justice for all. You know, it very sad to me. But of course, you know, what's even sadder than that is the multitude of people that agree with this idea that mere people shouldn't have any authority over themselves or any right to determine who they are in this country. And of course, that is how this country became born. We could even say that America was born in defiance of these very same ideas that some police or officials or cops have authority over the people. Over the people. And the people only have an option to hear and obey. And if you don't, well, there's the constant threat of being killed until you can learn that lesson to hear and obey. Thank you very much. And of course, we'd like to make a quick pit stop at the website, and this is the URL we are at right now. And we'd like to point out that the latest affidavit for your use is located here, and in particular, this is the thank you for not killing me affidavit that you will probably find useful for serving upon all of your local and perhaps state corporate government officials and police of any type, stripe, or variety. And of course, this is assuming that you have survived your encounter with any police officer or corporate government official. And this is the quick look at the beginning of it, where you can pledge that you freely choose to obey them, okay, and everything that you might want to add, and shows your gratitude. And the main purpose of this is to show this police individual that you are not a sovereign citizen and would never want to be one, or you would never want to have the officer think you are one, because they might have to decide, or they might have to kill you, and you don't want them to do that. And once you've once you've given them the thank you affidavit, which mentions frequently at many points, please don't take this as uppity or backsass. Thanks for not killing me. And it is liberally peppered throughout the affidavit as you state other facts of perhaps your arrest and even false arrest, such as here, please don't take this as uppity or backsass. Thanks for not killing me. And again and again at every point, especially when you state something like this here, your actions there and then constitute an unjust kidnapping, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, theft of property upon me. You especially want to issue the disclaimer there. Please don't take this as uppity or backsass. Thanks for not killing me. So that way, you may continue. You may continue to survive. And that's what we're all doing out here, is just trying to survive under this corporate government where, you know, the rules are just made up as they go, and they just arbitrarily decide for any reason acceptable to them to just kill you. So you want to try to do something about that, like the signature here, with all due respect, in the hope you don't kill me, you see. And this way, the goodest officers of whatever department can stack up these affidavits and use them to perhaps get promotions, become the chief, run for president, whatever it is they might have in mind. And I did mean to put this here, citing of Higgins versus Levine. The law requires proof of jurisdiction to appear on the record of the administrative agency in all administrative proceedings. I meant to put in here, and you may take the liberty to do so yourself, maybe something like, not my fault, I didn't make this law, please don't kill me. You can add that yourself, and it might be a very good idea, since somebody may take this as backsass. So there you go, and hey, keep an eye out for our next hard-hitting video from Crush Your Traffic Ticket, or False Arrest in America, I guess, is the official name of the YouTube channel. And again, thank you, over and out for today. And of course, for all of the corporate law enforcers out there, thanks for not killing me.